Welcome to Thursday Night Shift.
Welcome.
Hi guys. How's it going? Is there an echo somewhere? Did I hear myself echo?
Nope, it was me watching the chat on the cell phone so I could get the people in our Facebook group and monthly movement. So hi to y'all.
Yeah, welcome. So it is what, the last Thursday of the month? Can you believe it? We're moving on to March 2022. So tonight we are going to skip our main starting question. So if you have any team members that are jumping on at the last minute or anything like that, you want to do any reminders, we are diving right in from the beginning tonight, because basically what we're going to be doing, if you missed it, is we are going to be answering a lot of your guys' questions about what to say when. So we went to all of our pages as well as monthly movement page, and we basically asked you, okay, what scenarios do you guys have to which you do not know what to say? And so we went through and we compiled these all into a big list by category. And so some of them may be duplicates, some are some we may just read. You guys put them out there, so we're going to read them and we're just going to answer them. So a couple things we'll also say is, if you have any answers, like a way that you would personally answer that, please do so in the chat, because it's always good to hear different perspectives of ways that things could be answered. If it wasn't going to be pure chaos, we'd let you guys unmute, but in the chat, feel free to go ahead and answer those as well. And I would say if you had any other ones or you didn't see those posts, to ask them, but we have a lot. So Heather, do you want to go ahead and just?
Yeah, you want to dive in? So I will tell you that we have the questions, but none, I don't think Jamie or Jody has even seen them. I think Callie and I saw them briefly, but we have not studied them or even thought about our responses yet. So we're giving you just off the cuff answers because over the years, it's out of habit, right? And out of routine and ritual that you begin to learn the things that you say. So we thought it would be a little bit more natural if we didn't know what was being said. So it would just come off our tongues, because over the years we have practice, because sometimes that's just the best way to learn. Okay, so if you did put a question, we have it in here. We may not be able to get to all of them, but we'll try to answer them either commenting where you posted it, but hopefully if it's a personal question and it didn't really apply to everyone, it was more of a personal scenario. It's not that we are ignoring you. We hear you, we see you, but we just may not have time to answer all that. So we'll answer you more in a private setting, or you can message one of us. So the first one we're going to tackle is one of the most popular topics, I would say. We put these into categories, and it's sponsoring. I think everybody was like, here is a scenario. What would you say? So if you missed the opportunity to put a question on our scenario in the monthly movement group or on our group pages, please put that in the chat. Or comment below if you're watching the live stream on the monthly movement, and we will do our best to answer it. So let's kick it off with our first scenario. What do I say once they have joined? Once you get a recruit? That's the first question. I'm just going to throw my answer out there really quick. I'm going to base it off of getting their launch party set up and helping them step by step walking through it. And it really goes in this particular order. I say, let's find a buddy system real quick. Find a friend to join with you. Let them y'all learn together. Number one, let's get your launch party on the date. Hit shooting star. Become certified. Sensational start. In that order. It's all in the consultant startup guide. There is no magic routine. It is the natural production of a new consultant. Anybody else?
Yeah, I would actually start with more of a question to them, and I would be, what time are you wanting to dedicate, right? And then what would you like to achieve? Because that's telling me right off the top, okay, what amount of time is somebody wanting to dedicate, and what are their goals, and what are they wanting to achieve in their business? And that will also direct me how and where I need to take them next. So for me, it's personally a question.
Heather, will you repeat the question so I make sure I have it fully?
Yes. What do you say once they've joined?
It's the first one under sponsoring on the
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with what Callie said, but what I would like to add to that is not necessarily what I would say, but what you as a sponsor needs to keep in mind. We've all experienced it time and time again where we get somebody who's really gung-ho and then they kind of fizzle out. or the opposite. So they may tell you, like, I just want to, get a discount right now, but I'm telling you to not discount them, so to speak. Like, those people who sometimes join just for a discount end up finding so much more within their Scentsy community that they ever thought was possible or imagined. And they end up taking the business a lot more seriously and further than you would have thought. So if we were to just kind of put everybody in their own column, like not serious versus serious, we might miss an opportunity. So always still check in with them, even if they say they might be a part-timer or a hobbyist, still give them the opportunities to show up. I don't think that necessarily answered the question, but it was just something that made me think of, sometimes we need that reminder that people change their mind or their why.
I would just say agreement with what y'all have already said, because I don't think it anything. I like to know what their kind of clear expectations of what they're wanting and how much communication they want. Do they want it all? Because you have those people who want lots of it, and then you have those who don't. So just kind of getting a clear picture and then letting them know they're not doing this alone. You've signed up, now what kind of thing, but guess what? I'm not just walking away. I'm here to help you do your launch party, all those things. Just having that good, clear communication.
All right, next question. This is her most frequent scenario. A customer or host expresses interest in joining. Then when it's time to sign up, they have doubts. How do I address this without seeming pushy? I try to ask if they want to discuss their reservations, but they inevitably will say it's not the right time.
I think the first thing to always remember when you have these types of scenarios is no doesn't mean never. It just means maybe not right now, right? And so depending on the scenario and that you have with that individual, the conversations, how well you know them, that's also one of the difficult things is every scenario is going to be different based on those aspects. But it would maybe something where I'm like, okay, move it to my follow-up later category, right? Or it's something where it's like, okay, they seem pushy, and if they say it's not the right time, just say, okay, well, something I've learned is, and sometimes tough love is the thing, right? But something I've learned is there's never going to be a right time, right? And just being very upfront with that and reminding them, I totally hear you and appreciate you. I've had those moments as well where life has been a little bit crazy. But one thing I've learned is there's never going to be a right time. But I'm just going to move you over here and I'll follow up with you later.
I was going to say,
go ahead, Jamie. Go ahead.
Sorry. I actually saw what Lindsay said down here, and she said, focus on how it benefits them. Sometimes it's just like, hey, you have bought $400 or however much in the past 3 months, and kind of breaking it down to how that benefits them. But if not, like Callie said, find that new category, put a little star by them. You've reached out, you've shared it. They don't want it. But maybe the next 3 or 4 times they might, who knows? So just kind of share those benefits of how it can really enhance them and enhance their life. And then if they say no, okay, great. I'm still happy to serve you as your Scentsy consultant. Move along.
I think sometimes too, if you caveat it going in and letting them know, hey, I'm so excited for you. What are some of your reservations? Ask them, right? What are some of your concerns? Listen, stop talking and listen. So you know how to address those specific concerns. And then 2, go ahead and tell them, listen, the time has to be right for you. I don't want you to join if you're not ready to join. Because then you're telling them, I'm serious about this. And 9 times out of 10, if you have to convince someone to join, they're not going to be a business builder for you anyway. And you don't need to be spending your time and energy on that. So just ask the questions. What are your concerns? Address them and move on.
And the only thing I can reiterate there is listen. A lot of times consultants get excited or nervous or whatever feeling comes over, and then there's almost like a verbal diarrhea. And we overcomplicate the entire conversation because we're trying to dominate it. We're trying to almost guess what they might say, and we're answering before we give them the question. But put the ball in their court and listen. It's okay when people say no. Do you know how many people it took years and they came to me and they're like, all right, I wish I did this years ago. All you can do is be yourself, be natural, and let them know how it benefits them. But if it's not right for them, hey, I'm always going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm a Scentsy lifer. So when you're ready, you know how to get a hold of me. But continue to share. You have a kit. Continue to share if we ever get back to trips, your photos of those things, because those things are what attract the people. But you don't always have to do all the talking or know all the answers. And it does what Callie said. It depends on the relationship, on the level of questioning I will do for somebody or the level of push. I don't want to drag them. I'm not dragging someone to do this, like Heather said, because I don't want to drag them through the business. If I have to drag them to it and through it, that's exhausting.
Yep. And people join for different reasons. I joined for money. Somebody may not be joining for that. So we get kind of stuck in our lane when we know what we're here for and how we run our business. And not everybody runs their business the same, nor do they join for the same reasons. And you don't know why they're interested unless you ask them. Right. So again, it's key questions that you're driving that bus to get the answers to. All right. Next question. Still in the sponsoring category. I feel like I'm playing
In the
Jeopardy.
sponsoring category, pick a category.
Sponsoring for 300.
Take it away.
She does another direct sales as well, but has a few times hinted at wanting to join Scentsy too. I had a no-cost host kit I offered her. This was the reply. I would love to work with you, but I don't think I can do blank and Scentsy. What's your response? Who wants to go first?
Do we know what blank is?
No, it's just blank in general.
Well, I often tell people the busier you are, generally the easier business is for you because you're out in the world. Let's just say maybe it's kids work in church for this particular situation. Those are 3 different places, 3 different categories that you come in contact with people. For those of us who work at home or do Scentsy full time, we have to go out and make acquaintances. We have to meet people at the post office or at the grocery store or at the restaurant, which are still all good places. But I remember when I had my daughter in volleyball, it's a new stadium of people or a new auditorium or gym full of people every week that I can potentially meet or repeat customers and have conversations while we're at a game. I think that being busy, it oftentimes is a blessing. And for that person in that scenario, she can decide what she wants from Scentsy and how much time she wants to give to it. I think people sometimes see it as a full-time 40 an hour a week job because it might pay well for some people. So does that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not 40 hours that you have to give into it to make the income of somebody who does do 40 hours. It might be 2 hours. It might be whatever time you can dedicate. And a lot of times people wish Jen was on because Jen is the perfect example of working her biscuit as a dental hygienist 40 hours a week and still then making 6 figures. And she just knew what she wanted and she was able to find the time. And the more time she found, the easier it became to find the time. I know that's a little bit much, but does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my response might be a smidge a little bit different. But I'd say the grass is greener where you water it. So where are you wanting to put that time? Like, what are kind of going back to that? What do you want from it? You know, like, are you wanting to build? Are you just kind of knowing where they stand on it? Because that's for sure something we see, you know, like they get their hands on all these things, but nothing's really thriving because there's so much. So grass is greener where you water it. What do you want from it? And and then you kind of say, because I have seen great success with people who can do multiple things at once. And then just kind of have that conversation to see maybe it's not the right fit for her right now. I mean, or I don't know. It's just my thought process.
Yeah, I would 100% say if it's somebody in another direct sales company, I'm never going to try to convince them to join my team. That is flat out for me. That is not it. Because I feel like that's not what we're about, right? I would offer to swap for parties. I would offer or for scent events or for whatever they're doing at their business, I would offer to swap for that. I would keep in mind the cross promoting situations and who I can do that scent event with, right? But for me, if I'm with Jamie, I feel like the grass is greener where you water it. And there's been a saying that Orville shared years and years and years ago that you can't serve 2 hosts at the same time. You can't serve 2 partners. You can't serve 2 people and have it actually be thriving and successful. And so in that situation, I would move them to that follow-up column. And maybe in the future, their passion is no longer where they currently are. And they still have a passion for direct sales, and Scentsy's the path for them.
Yep. So my response would be, at first I do a little research to see how much they've spent with me over the past year. How many times have they hosted with me? I want to know a little bit more about them. That's going to determine which route I go. I'm never, like Callie said, I'm never going to convince anybody. I have been that person that did 3 at one time. You can be good at a lot of things. You can't be great at more than one. It is impossible. You have 24 hours in a day. Where you put that time is, like JP said, the grass is greener where you water it. It is so true. And I am the multitask, get shiz done queen, and I still can't do it, right? So you have to give something up to give attention to another. And I want you to remember this. Sometimes people are better hostesses than they are team members, and that's okay. So keep that in mind. Let her know, you know what? It's up to you. I personally have done multiple businesses and it wasn't a success for me, but I'm not going to judge you if you're wanting to give it a shot and take advantage of one of our host exclusive kits. Give it a shot. Worst case scenario, you can get money back on your purchases, or if it doesn't work out, it's nothing lost, right? That would be my biggest scenario if she's like kind of a big spender, or I think she'll be putting enough orders in. Otherwise, I'm going to just say, you know what? Now's not a great time. Don't do it. I'd rather spoil you as one of my hostesses. And that's it. All right. Next question. I just quit selling because I didn't have time for it.
I would say, well, let me know when you're ready to host a Scent event so you can get some free and half price product, because what you're passionate about, what you are prioritizing, you will make time for. Like, I know that's tough love. And I know you're thinking, okay, well, that team member's gone. And I'm going to say next, because just as Heather said earlier, like you can, if you're going to, or it was Jody, sorry, you can drag somebody to the business, but then you have to drag them to do it. And then what, you're just kind of wasting your time.
Yeah.
Same. I like the tough love, Kelly. I'm not going to beg you to stay.
Yeah. And sometimes
want
you
it
just
for
say, if you don't have time to sell Scentsy, let me spoil you as a VIP customer or join my Scentsy club. Let me take care of you this way. And sometimes when you do that reverse psychology, they're like, well, gosh, she doesn't think I can do this. Let me show her, right? I mean, sometimes that works. I know when somebody tells me I can't do something, I show them 10 times over I can. My husband is
Well, and the other thing you want to remember too is a lost team member. It sucks, but you don't need to be mad or upset about it, because they can become your VIP. And I have a lot of team members over the years who have brought me new team members or new customers or new hostesses. So you still want to keep a very good rapport with them. Not to mention, they can always come back unlimited times at this point in time. They can come back as much as they want and reinstate their account when things maybe are a little bit better for them. So, and I have had that. We've had superstar directors who have reinstated, and the second time around, they blew their business out of the water. So just because now is tough for them or now isn't the right time doesn't mean that they can't come back later.
Yeah.
All right, next question. When I'm onboarding a new teamie and they say, I want to make money, I'm not sure how to tell them that team building will get them there quicker. I'm afraid it will make them clam up.
Well, then you're just assuming how they're going to feel. You're not giving them the opportunity to explain to you what they want or what they're willing to do. You never can assume that something's going to scare somebody, because if they're telling you, I want to make money, you're gonna be like, great, I know exactly what you've got to do. And then you give them the plan, and what they do with it's up to them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's exactly it. I think that we cannot project our own personal fears and opinions upon somebody else, because if we do, we're just staying stuck, just as we're keeping them stuck along with us ultimately, right? So it's almost, we have to let them decide. It comes to the same thing as like people's pocketbooks, right? Oh, well, that's too expensive for me, but why are we projecting our expenses upon them? I think it's the same concept.
This kind of leads it, and oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, would you read the question again? I was responding to a text, someone who couldn't get on the Zoom. I apologize.
It was just when they have a new teammate, I want to make money. I'm not sure how to tell them that team building will get them there quicker. I'm afraid it'll clam them up.
Okay, go ahead, Heather.
Okay, next question is, I don't want to seem pyramid-y by telling them that they need to grow a team right off the bat, but I also don't want them leaving money on the table.
Have you seen what the business structure of any company looks like? That's my favorite thing, because the CEO's at the top, and then you've got other, C levels, and they go all the way down to lower management, all to employees. It's all built like a pyramid. And how you explain that to that person would depend on the relationship you have with that person, in my opinion. But I can get a little feisty sometimes when people are like, it's a pyramid. I'm like, and your job is it? Have you looked at it, sweetie? Because you're at the bottom, and I'm not. So it just depends on the person.
Yeah, I also saw a really great reel, TikTok, whatever, the other day, and it was basically where the gal was explaining that if you're familiar with any mortgage broker, right? A mortgage broker, what are they doing? They're getting other real estates into their mortgage brokerage so that they can build and expand and have a greater reach, right? And the mortgage brokerage earns a percentage off of each real estate agent's income. So it's the same thing. No matter what you're in, It's the same concept. So if people are worried about that, I think just having some of these different examples is like that are good to have in your back pocket.
And I would also educate yourself. Get involved, use Google. If you don't really know what a pyramid scheme is, like I just went to Google just to read the exact definition. That way you learn it to where it rolls off your tongue. It's a business model that recruits members via a promise of payments or services for enrolling others into the scheme rather than supplying investments or sale of products. We're selling products. We're not promising income just by bringing people on. There are requirements, and you do get a leadership bonus once you meet those requirements. So I think it's important to get educated on what it is. Don't go down the rabbit hole of all the things, but everybody has their own opinions. Everybody's got, what's that saying? Two holes or something? I'm not sure. Isn't it something about the lines of that? I don't know. I can't think of it, but I think y'all know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Oh, good.
And I think with that one, like, also the other aspect of this is, I think that in the last two questions, actually, it's like, I don't know how to tell them how to, and I also don't want to tell them that this is what they need to do right off the bat to build a team, right? And so the thing is the reason why team building is important, why it can help you get to those next levels, is because you actually, if you look at the compensation plan, even off your own personal sales, as you promote and sponsor and build a team, you're earning a wholesale volume bonus as well. And so you have a higher percentage of that you can earn on your personal sales also, along with the leadership bonuses for helping them do the same thing. And so it's just one of those things of, it gives you a more opportunity to expand and grow. You can only, and I don't want to say you can only, because there's so many consultants, like we've had Lisa Roberry and stuff before, right? Sell $60,000 in 1 month. So I don't want to say you can only sell so much in a month, but the odds of each and every one of us, even Heather, who gets great sales goals and things, right? Selling $60,000 in 1 month personally is a lot, but what can you do together as a team is way more than that. And so not only that, but it's bouncing ideas off each other, working together. All of that helps motivate you as you build a team also.
100%. Next question. When you have a conversation about them joining because they are looking for a job, but they say they need regular income.
My first question with you is how much?
Like, how hard are you willing to work? What's the goal? Like Cal said, what's the goal? What do you need to pay your bills? I can tell you how to do it. I can help you get there.
Yeah, that would probably be my question to them, is how many hours do you have a week to dedicate to your success?
Something that keeps coming to mind for me is the people who are asking these questions, the consultants who sent these questions in, are they confident in our business model? Because sometimes that can be the determining factor. Like if you're not confident in that this company or this opportunity can really produce real income, it would be harder for you to answer those types of questions. And I say that because I've had my doubts over the years, especially in the beginning. Was this really legitimate? Did I just get lucky? Is this just going to last a few weeks or a few months? But the more I understand about direct sales and being part of the DSA and our company and what we can do, the easier it is for me to not combat, but really it is combat those questions. Like I can really have a full-on conversation with somebody with any of these questions, because I know in my heart the absolute potential. And if they want it, if they want income, like they say, from a real job, great. I understand having that stability almost, but this is uncapped potential. I'm not going to max out my dollar amount or what I could potentially earn because my company says this is all we will allow for the top level in this company. Mm-hmm. So all of you, we have the uncapped, there's no ceiling on the income potential we can earn. While that does take time, if that person that you're talking to says that they want a more stable income, you can tell them, like, you can still go out and get a job and do this on the side until it builds up more, if that makes you more comfortable. There's so much flexibility with what we do that it really is hard to find a reason that you can't do it. It's more of, are you willing to do it? So if they're willing to do what it takes, then they will. And if they're not, don't drag them along.
All right.
I agree. I would actually also add to that, and I was just going to see if they updated it for the year yet, but the income disclosure statement, that is a resource from corporate that shows you what was earned this last, and it will tell you what year it is. I think right now we only have access to 2020. But basically what I would point out there is, and I'm going to share my screen real quick, but what I would point out is if you don't understand how to read it, it would be hard, first of all, but this column here, this group 2 is consultants. Group 2 is consultants who were with Scentsy for less than 12 months in 2020. And it will be probably similar to this when they update it for 2021. And so here in group 2, if you look at this column, maximum annual commissions earned, $34,933. So that is somebody that joined and was with their business for less than 12 months in that year, and they made over almost $35,000. So if you know that, and you have somebody that says, I need regular income, then right there, you can tell them, okay, if you hustle, if you put in time and dedication, if you're willing to make that happen, that can be in 1 year. And then what are we going to do in year 2, year 3, year 4?
Yeah, that's great. It shows good potential. All right, next question. I've had 2 people reach out to me the past few weeks about joining and buying the kit. When I sent them the info, they ghosted me. One of the girls messaged me a few days later and said, I'm signing up today, and she didn't. I feel like maybe it's something I'm doing or saying wrong.
I'd say that's kind of a hard one to answer because I would need to know what that consultant is saying.
Yeah.
And without that information, that's a super hard question to answer. I don't know if any of you guys have anything, but I personally can't because I don't know what they're saying to them.
I think just depending on the scenario, if it's a host exclusive kit or you've got $200 worth of orders coming in, maybe reaching back up and saying, I know you were thinking about joining and you haven't done it yet. I'm so glad you didn't, because I have a $59 kit available today. Don't know if you're interested. Send them the sheet that shows the 2 different views of the starter kit. So they see the $99 starter kit and the $59, and just kind of approach it that way. Say, oh, I'm actually glad you didn't yet, because this came up.
Well, and the other thing that I've heard other people say, I have to be honest, I don't know if I've actually ever used this, but I like it. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest, right? That like, hey, I know you were interested. I know it was something we discussed. It's okay if you're not interested right now, but I wanted to know if there was anyone else that you could refer or might want this, because a lot of times when you ask them, if they know someone, they're like, hold up. Wait a minute. Maybe I do want it. Yeah. I want it. I'm just kidding. So, I mean, like I said, I personally haven't done it yet, but it's something that's on the table to do next time, because it does happen. And it is a little bit of an interesting scenario to know exactly what's being said, the dynamic, all of the things. But, a lot of times once you ask for maybe a referral, they're like, well, wait a minute, maybe I do want it. So that's just another thought.
You know what else is great about these questions that we're going over tonight? None of these questions are out of the normal. Like we've all faced these very situations multiple times, or
yes, everybody.
Like, I can't wait to join, and then all of a sudden you're excited, right? You're like, whoa, I got a new teammate, and then they're like, they disappear. You're like, wait, what? I didn't, I wasn't wanting you to do something if you didn't want to. But so we get it, we understand.
Oh, for sure. I think we had 120 people comment questions just in the monthly movement alone. I had 20 people ask questions in my group. So you can imagine, as we were quickly typing these up and putting them into the board to cover tonight, I kept thinking exactly like Jody's saying, this has happened to me. I've heard this. I've seen this. So if we can't cover all the questions tonight, we might have to table some of them to a following week, because we're only on the first board and we've got a lot of other boards to hit.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's topics galore. We moved them all into categories. I am going to say what the next question is, when talking to somebody about joining, I don't want to sound pushy, so I don't really know what to say. That's the next question.
I think the best way to not be pushy is to think about why it would benefit them, right? Mm-hmm. Because if it's about you, if it's arrows in, then it's going to be pushy. But if it's arrows out and like how it's benefiting them, I think the same thing is remembering, just as in training or in recruiting or anything, 5 to 8 times. It can take somebody 5 to 8 times before they decide that it's the right fit for them. Jody just said, yeah, me, right? So
just for everything, not just for joining, but for everything you guys try to teach me. I'm like, oh, I'll get it now. It's the 10th time I've heard it. Might as well apply it.
Yeah, it's true.
So, and I think the other thing that I'm going to add with that real quickly, and I think this is going to contribute to a lot of these things is, the more you do it, the more you're going to get comfortable, the more you're going to feel less pushy, the more it's going to be more natural and more real to you. But you won't get there until you try it, and you're probably going to fall and you're probably going to fail and you're going to step back and be like, why did I say that? I shouldn't have said it like that. I should have done it like this. And you'll question yourself. But the more that you do it, the better.
Well, and don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. It's not a sales pitch, you guys. It's an invitation. It really is. If you make it short and sweet and personal, you'll be amazed at how much natural that feels. And you won't ever feel pushy because you're having a real conversation with, say it's your friend, you know, like, I know that you would love this because X, Y, and Z. This is, you know, would, like Callie said, point out the benefits to them. And it doesn't feel pushy at all. And if they say no, I always say, no, I'm really sorry for you because you don't know what you're missing. So,
hey, Terry Newman, can you expand upon that? You can unmute.
I was going to ask if we could
unmute Terry and share that.
Come on, Terry Newman.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
How you doing? Yeah, I just put in the chat. I had a friend that was in sales for years in the corporate world. And he told me one time, when people say to you, I feel like a used car salesman, I feel pushy, I don't want to bug anybody. And I'd like to believe most people are nice, kind people, and we try to be authentic, and we never want to come across like that, of course. But he said, think of it as transferring a belief. So if you believe in something and you share it, that's not icky. So why would telling people about Scentsy that we love so much, and we also believe in our product, we know that our company stands with integrity and character, which is much more than many companies. So why would we be embarrassed or awkward about that if you really think about it? And I've used this analogy many times also, is that if you have a favorite restaurant you like, you have no problem telling everybody why you like it, about the food, the service, everything. You could probably get your friends to go to your favorite restaurant, right? So you can explain Scentsy to somebody from the heart and they'll know that you're being authentic. They can catch insincerity a mile away.
That is so good.
It's so true. I love
It
that.
is so true.
Thank
And yeah, you have to have belief in order to transfer it, right? If you're not believing, how are you going to transfer it?
Yeah.
So it
Right.
doesn't start with yourself.
Right.
Love that. Next question. When people message you about joining, and when I respond saying there's a couple of options if you'd like me to run them by you, and then get ghosted again. Or when people complain they are stressing financially but don't want to give it a shot because it's an MLM. Again, I think that's kind of similar to what we've been talking about, right? Like,
absolutely. I think that's pretty similar to what some of those other ones. And again, we were all just kind of copy pasting and adding those, right? But it kind of goes back to the same thing. I think it's good to see these different scenarios and these different questions and think about how we can. If someone's ghosting you, again, it's going to come back to that. If you're going to drag them to do it, why are you doing it? I would say next and move on. And if you're thinking, well, I don't know that many people, or how am I going to contact with them? Then that's going to lead us to some of these other areas of online parties and finding connections and follow up and all of that.
yeah, so true. Here's one we haven't had yet, girls. New topic here on this. It's still under sponsoring, but it's a good one. I'm struggling with flipping parties. I always explain the kit cost, that they keep the rewards and earn the commission, but I've gotten 0 bites. Wah, wah, wah. We all have.
I was going to say, I think that comes again to see, I want to hear got to know a little bit of what that conversation looks like. Don't get your feelings hurt. Thank you. Next. I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I sometimes maybe I'm in a salty mood again, but sometimes it's like, I'm not going to beg you. Like, if you want to support me, I have a customer, y'all, she spends, if y'all knew, every one of y'all be like, why haven't you got her to join yet? I'm like, because she doesn't want to. She likes supporting me. And that's that. You can't beg people to do it. It doesn't matter how much goodness you show them, you can't beg them. And if you show them all the amazing different opportunities, right? The different options, if none of them are appealing to them, say, that's okay. Like, once again, kind of back to all the other conversations we had. Do you know anyone else who might be interested? I'll put you on my VIP list, whatever. All you can do is all you can do, but it would help a little bit to know what those conversations probably originally are sounding like.
The only thing I'm going to tell you to go is into your workstation, search out, pick your path, starter kit comparisons, save that in your phone. Anytime somebody is thinking about it, don't have, regardless of what kit they're interested in, if it's free, $39, $59, send them that document. It's a great visual. It lists the contents. You're shooting yourself in the foot if you're not utilizing that document with every single person potentially that could be joining your team. If you don't know what to say, that document is so powerful, it does the talking for you. So if you hear nothing else tonight, just hear that document and save it. That's it. And anytime any is join us, yeah, here's our options. That's it. Let it do the talking for you.
The only other thing I would add to that is sometimes I think we're so comfortable and almost dependent on Facebook Messenger and text messaging. And it's easy for people to be rude and ghost us, act like they didn't see it, ignore it, leave us on unread, but they would never ignore you. And like, if you're talking to someone face to face on the phone, they're not going to just be like, well, I would hope not anyway. So sometimes it is a matter of picking up the phone, which I know is pretty terrible. The last 5 years or whatever, none of us want to do that, but it is a lot harder to just ignore someone when it's via message. So if you feel that they're doing that, pick up the phone and give them a call.
Well, and if you're also flipping, it needs to be a good party in order to flip it. I mean, it's not enticing when it's a $65 order. Like, what am I flipping? So if you're not good at parties, you need to become better at host coaching and be better at partying, right? There's always an area you can get better in. So figure out where you need to fix it and become better and have a really great party, because it's really hard to say no when it's, $800 in sales and you're getting that commission. I mean, really? I mean, it's that's just the icing on the cake. Next question, join combos. When someone tells me they're just too busy with kids and sports and work.
I think we kind of said that one. The busiest people are the most successful people. I think like Jody mentioned earlier, you're coming in contact with more and more people, the busier you are. That's more contacts that you have in front of you. But that also means that you have to be willing to have a conversation with those customers, or with those people you do come in contact with, or wear your shirt, or bring your testers and work on them in the bleachers, or smell them, or get familiar with them, right? Like, there's so many things that you can do in your downtime, where sometimes it's not even just going and like sharing Scentsy, it's just learning about doing Scentsy, getting to know your catalog because it's in your person, those types of things. And hey, you know what? I'm always looking for people's opinions and feedback. What do you think of this scent? Those things kind of around you, and using those opportunities to your best ability as you're busy. Fit Scentsy into your life, not your life into Scentsy.
It's great. Okay, next one was real response. What I did doing a party to earn her host kit for free because she wanted a free kit. Well, it sounds good, but I really won't be able to do parties only because of my work schedule and kids, but thank you for the info. Again, so that kind of ties into what you just said. Sorry, I'm reading these as we go in an order because I really don't want to leave anybody out. Next question, coming up with ways to confront someone with the join opportunity over Messenger. Again, I would use that document that I talked about, the comparison.
How well do you know them? That's another thing. It's like, how well do you know this person? Like, is it just a random cold call, or is it a full-blown somebody you've known for 20 years kind of thing? Someone that buys from you. Have they ever used Scentsy? There's a lot of other, facets to that. Like, I don't want someone just cold call. Hey girl, someone I haven't talked to in 20 years and I've never used the product, just asking me to join their business through Messenger. I don't want that. And I'm not going to open it.
I delete them. They make me mad. So don't do that.
So
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jake.
Nope, I'm done.
I was just going to say, I would, like, the question I feel like you should ask yourself, no matter what you are doing in your business, posting, responding, messaging, anything, how would I respond to that?
Right.
If you wouldn't respond to the message in your inbox, do you think someone else is going to respond to the message in your inbox? Right.
Yeah.
That's the same concept.
If the answer is yes, go for it. If the answer is no, don't do it. Don't say it. Don't post it. I mean, put yourself on the other side. I think that's the smartest advice ever.
Yeah, that's with a post or anything. Like, if you're thinking like, well, I posted this and nobody responded, nobody liked it, nobody commented. Well, if you saw that when you were scrolling, did it stop you to do anything?
Great advice. when the join kits are $29 or using host credit for them to steal a kit, don't have any desire to join because they just want the discounted kit.
Which one? I'm trying to see which one you're on.
So they're just kidnappers, right? So I think you're going to have those. I think that's very common, and you're not going to try to convince somebody that has the intention of kidnapping.
And I think that not thinking that just because you recruit somebody that suddenly your business has changed, right? We were talking today, and I know that all of us can say this. We've recruited a lot more people that have ever actually done something or showed up or anything like that. And so it's going to be natural. It's just continuing the same cycle over and over.
Yeah. I wanted to post a screenshot of my conversation this afternoon. When he answered no, I've never thought about that. Then when asked if he knows a lot of people who love Scentsy, no, he doesn't. When asked if he knows people on social, his response was no, not really. I ended with asking him to let me know if he'd like some info, some no pressure info, but I'm not sure I said the right things at the right time, or maybe he just wasn't the right one. So she asked if he knows a lot of people who love Scentsy. He said no. Asked if he knows a lot of people on social. Answer was no. I think it may have come across a little spammy of of machine gun questions of just trying to reword to where he may have felt like he was getting pressured into something, is what I think. And I say that with love. We've all done it. You have to reword your things and practice with people that love you, so you know what you're saying. Because we all say things the wrong way and we're like, crap, put my foot in my mouth. Are you kidding? I can't believe I said that. So we all do it. So I would try to reword it and just say, sometimes just giving a compliment to them, like, you'd be really great at this. Have you ever thought about this? Mm-hmm. And just stopping at that, right? Instead of asking all the million questions. So anybody else?
And if that's somebody that's on Messenger, or, you can always go back and try to save that conversation. Say, you know what, I think I came off wrong. I shouldn't have, I should ask you this. I apologize. And just leave it at that. Or just say, I'm sorry if, I asked too many questions, that I didn't think about it that way. You can always apologize however you feel fit. And then, that goes a long way with people. And he may say, you know what, she's a really good person. She's honest. I like her. She came back and I want to join her team because she's my kind of people.
I would also say, looking at this, there's a lot of close-ended questions. Open-ended questions are always going to get you a lot further than close-ended questions. So if it's a yes or no answer question, you're probably going to get a yes or no answer, and that's not going to take you very far, right? And so thinking more of like, okay, who are 5 people that you would automatically think of that maybe are your dirt list, right? The people that you would, that would support you no matter what. Can you think of 5 people? Who would those 5 people be, right? And kind of coming at it in more of an open-ended way.
It's really good. When I'm talking to someone about joining and not finding the right words to lock them in, I always seem to lose my nerve and just say, okay, need to find the right words to lock them into joining. And again, I don't think it's any key words. It's everybody's different.
I think it's being yourself. Like Heather said, maybe not asking too much. It's just, I think you'd be great at this. Simple as that. We're the best examples. Whether you've been in 1 week, 1 day, 15 years, it doesn't matter. They most likely have seen you or come to a party that you've done in some shape, form, or fashion. I think it's just as simple as, I love how Heather said it. I just think you'd be great at this, and then let it flow. And I also always need that reminder that Callie said about the open-ended questions, because then it flips it back to them. So
I think another really great question in those situations is, what do you have to lose?
Yeah, that's
Especially
a great question.
If you're getting a free kit or something like that, right? What do you got to lose at this point? Because at this point, you're staying exactly where you are, or you're trying something new, and everything's about trying something new and see if it's the right fit for you.
Yep. Next one. I struggle big time with not saying too much for sponsoring. I need help. My first advice to you is quit focusing on sponsoring and start focusing on booking parties.
Yeah, you're going to get in front of more people. Yeah. Which is going to lead you to more opportunities. It's hard to sponsor someone when they're here to just buy a $6 bar or a 6-pack of wax. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. I join, but I don't want to take anyone from you.
Boo, we all have our own circles. We might cross a little bit, but we all got our own circles.
That's okay. You can have them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Exactly.
answer would probably
You can
come
have them.
across a little cocky. I would probably say, girl, I'm actually paying people to take my customers away. I've got so much sales coming in. I just simply can't manage this many customers. That's how busy I am.
And then, you know what? It comes back to that affirmation. We've talked about affirmations before, right? And you're thinking, well, so I don't know about that, but it's possible, right? It is. I mean, if you think what you think about, you bring about, speak it into existence.
I mean,
I
somebody
always
come
remind
get
them.
these customers.
I always remind them, I've been doing this. You're brand new. You go with who you know and who's going to support you. I know how to find more people.
Yep.
Like, don't let you help me. I help you. This is a win-win. And this is nothing but to start you off with success. You're not taking anybody.
This is probably another one that JP can lead off with. I'd love Scentsy, but I wouldn't do well. There are too many consultants in my area.
Oi. Oi. Love that one.
And I know people, very successful people who live in towns smaller than me, but I live in a town of less than 5,000 people. Okay.
What happened the other day? I mean,
Huh?
now that's not the other day. It was probably like 6 months ago when the person in your backyard got recruited.
Yes. By someone in my downline, someone that my neighbor, I've never met her, but I didn't realize it until I saw her address. She's literally like, I can see her house from my house. I don't know her, but guess who did? My downline. They do. So
Yeah.
you're not taking anybody. You're not stepping on toes. Small town is no, I can't no, that's all I gotta say. Don't give me the small town.
Yeah, saturation is actually a myth. If you go, I look at any industry, how many are in your city that are successful? How many makeup brands are there? You walk into Ulta, Sephora, how many makeup brands are in there? They're all in the same shot in the same 800 square feet, however big those stores are. I don't really know, right? They're still there on the counter. They're still successful. It's the right fit for somebody.
Yeah, and I might be coming up.
Go ahead, Joe.
I might come off cocky too a little bit on this, but I built my business in a town of less than 3,000 people. You're gonna overlap at some areas, and that's fine. But I don't want this to sound rude, but obviously we recruit in those small towns, and I know that Jose over here that you're worried about competing with hasn't put any sales in 6 months. So don't think just because they say they're a consultant that they're actually working their business, because I look at them like, homegirl next door ain't doing nothing. I guess I'll go out and make the business.
Thanks for advertising for me.
Yeah, thanks. You got me some more customers. So just because that's another thing, like these people see, well, I know so-and-so who sells Scentsy. Well, they only have to sell $200 once every 12 months. So you really don't know how their business looks. Just because they say Callie Terra, independent Scentsy consultant, doesn't mean she's active or has a following or has a customer base. So don't ever let that stop you or somebody else from joining, ever.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Just because you see a sticker on the car does not mean they're working their business. So, and think of how many nail salons are in your town. I mean, when I lived in San Diego, my whole fourplex of military housing, we were all Scentsy consultants and 2 within a block radius. Never once did we ever step on anybody's toes. We booked our own parties and sponsored like crazy. It's all about how you're perceiving yourself, whether this is a full-time job, you're serious, or it's a hobby, right? People should never come to me and ask me, are you still doing Scentsy? If they ask me that question, I know I'm not doing my job good enough. So that's what I would say about that as well.
You have to add one more thing. I know we got lots of questions. We're probably just going to get through sponsoring tonight. And guess what? We got some topics for the coming weeks.
We do, which is good. This is great. Hopefully it's helpful.
Yeah, I would have to say on this one, I'm also from a very small town. My graduating class was 74, and that was from a lot of little cities that all gathered around. And we built our business there in that small town, and people have left and come back, and both have hit in superstar director, star director all along the way. In the last, I would say it's probably been 6 or 7 years, we had a newer team member come on. She promoted to star director, and her husband are about my age. She has actually gotten in touch with a lot of the people that I haven't been able to connect with in our community. They were even my friends, but they're hosting parties with her. So whatever it is that the way that she communicates, the way that she talks, the way that she brands her business, that's just slightly different mine, they connect with her. But guess what? She's still in my team. And that's what I'm going for, is recruit. I'm not going to stop.
So true. Next question. I was talking with one of my team members the other day, and she had someone asking her about joining. I know most of the answers and had my workstation open as I was helping her. But when she started asking about our discount, I was kind of confused on the best way to explain it. I had the compensation plan in front of me and could explain that there is no discount up front, but we get commission on all sales, including ours. So it's just like getting a 20 or 25% discount. This is where I struggle. The questions about how it all works. So I don't know that I would use the word discount. I would say get paid on your purchases.
But there are companies that are not part of the DSA that they charge full price at the party, but when they submit the order, they're already 40% discounted.
Correct, but we don't do that. Yeah.
We don't do that. And that's why I said earlier in the call, it's really important to understand our business in being part of the DSA, because our rules, our guidelines, whatever you want to call them, are very different than some of the other companies out there that are just strictly MLM and not associated to the DSA. They get a discount of 40% on the top. Ours is paid back, and it's use the verbiage Heather said. So
yeah. And you could do like a rebate, like they're saying, like, you know how you go and you get, when you shop at Costco and you get like 3% back on all your purchases, you get that rebate and you could use it towards your membership or whatever. I mean, we're trying to change the word of commissions or paid because we're trying to find that one word that they respond to that's like ding, 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 right? But it's all really the same thing. I mean, it's you're buying the stuff and you're going to get paid on whatever you're buying in the catalog. We're not going to get paid on business supplies you're buying. You're getting paid off everything in the catalog. Go ahead, Cal.
Yeah, I just want to add, I think that some people are like, oh, well, over here I can get it at 50% off and then I put it in. But I would ask you is how often are you finding yourself discounting that 50% to you're only actually making maybe another 25% because you feel you got the discount, you're only paying this, you got to give that back. And so something I always like to point out is I, as a consultant, I pay full price when I order your product and I get a rebate back. And so I charge you exactly what I pay. So I never feel like I need to give a discount to somebody because I'm paying exactly that when I order it. Right. And so that's, I think, another great way to look at that is you're really not then discounting yourself at all. And it's earning back on the purchases that you make, a rebate basically.
Okay, the last one we have under sponsoring is when you have someone out of the blue ask you about joining, trying to figure out how to explain all she needs to know without word vomiting. I think sometimes less is more. Ask the questions, stop and listen.
And learn as you go. Like, and I guess this is something that I'm trying to figure out is like, if they're just asking about joining, it would be just more as, well, you're asking, what about this excites you, right? So then you're finding what about this opportunity is making you want to join, and you can take it down that path versus word vomiting things that they don't need to know about, right? Or that they're not even interested in this moment, because no matter what, you're not going to be able to give them everything that they need. And I bet you as consultants would say, you're not going to know everything that you need to know to run every aspect of your business and know everything you need to do from the day that you join. It's a learn as you go process. And so it's more just here, we're going to, here's what it is to join. Here's what you earn right from the beginning. And here's what I'm going to do to help you to get to the next level.
Okay, I think we can get 2 more of these categories knocked out because there's only a couple of questions in each one. This next topic was just under buying in general. When someone says they want to place $100+ order, but they don't want to host a party or open up their own shopping link.
I don't ask them. I tell them, I create it. I tell them, I place their order for their $100 underneath that. I send them the link and say, hey, you're halfway to earning free stuff. So in the next 90 days, whatever you want, we're going to use this link for.
Mm-hmm.
Smart.
And if you share it with any friends or family,
you get even more.
You get even more.
That's so smart.
Mm-hmm.
This next category is VIP group. I would love to do a live to get my VIP page more active. It's the same few people commenting, liking, or buying, and I would like to get them more excited and involved, and unboxing/using products isn't doing it.
Are you rewarding those few that are commenting? In some, I hate to say rewarding, whatever, recognizing those that are commenting. I mean, if it's a good friend or a really good customer, hey, your next purchase, would you share it, what you bought and what you love about it? Or I don't know, but I know that was my very first thought is to, and then we've seen the idea of the ticket thing that someone shared.
Yeah.
The ticket to join the VIP, to go in every order, to get more people in there, to going live is huge. I think I always have the most interaction going live. I did one the other day. I was literally sitting on the floor, the most unattractive view ever, but they didn't care. I was showing them all the goods, and it was it really helped because the lives they see real life. But I would definitely shout out those people who are constantly commenting. Maybe you send them a scent circle or whatever you want to do, whatever it is for you. But I would definitely encourage them to share that when they get those freebies from you, from those shout outs, recognize those who are doing it, because then it'll be a little bit more contagious.
Yeah, it's that recognize and reward what you want repeated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it goes just as well with your customers as it does your team and your consultants. Are you moving on, or
it's the last one I have in VIP? If Jody or y'all want to take it, it is I run out of things to post in my VIP.
Don't we all?
And well, so here's what I was actually going to say on the last one, and I should have read that this one next, is it ties in. So, and I was actually going to get it, and I'm going to go post it on the live and the monthly movement page. And it's actually from Lynn Lowe. She found well, first of all, who's a fan here of Yellowstone?
Oh, hey girl.
Oh yeah, would you look at that? Okay, so she was out scrolling, and she came across on the Yellowstone, one of their fan pages, basically like ABCD, which man do you choose, right? Like which one? And she posted in her VIP page and got a ton of interaction. I think that sometimes we forget that it doesn't have to always be Scentsy related,
Yes.
right? It's a way that you're creating interaction and engagement. What is the smelliest thing in your house right now is one that Chrissy Domeno has posted many, many times, right? Just asking them those types of basic questions, this or that, right? Asking for their opinion. If anybody will give their opinion, they love to give their opinion. Hey, I'm redecorating this area. I mean, we see those a lot that are just pay whatever, but if you go live and you're like, I just got this in, what do we think about that? Help me style this. What would you do? Another thing is you could almost do theme days, right? If you use the Yellowstone reference that Lynn, I mean, like I said, I'm gonna post it there so you can see it. But if you use that, maybe now you're posting some of our more outdoorsy type warmers and things, right? Because it kind of ties into that same theme, and those people that are interacting that day are going to see that. So that's kind of what I would think about it.
Also, sorry, not to cut you off, Cal, but another thing is, if you are following people, or if you're in anyone else's insiders, VIPs for any, sorry, I can't talk, any other thing besides Scentsy, if it's influencers you follow, whatever, what is it that keeps you coming back to watch those people or go to those groups? I mean, like Callie said, maybe it's fun little surveys that have nothing to do with the product that they're sharing. Maybe they I saw once where they shared like I don't know how many pictures, like, how do you like your toast? Had nothing to do with any product, but people were like, oh no. And then it had this like whole discussion of why they like their toast a certain level of darkness or whatever, but it's kind of like, I like pay attention to why I keep coming back to certain pages or certain people or certain things, and keep that in mind, because that could help you with you on your own page. I can't talk.
Another thing, when you get stuck, especially if you're trying to post non-Scentsy things that are kind of more fun, I don't know who uses Pinterest anymore, if anybody does, but it's still kind of resourceful for, gosh, I can't remember what you would type in, but like getting to know you type questions, or there's another word I'm thinking of, basically engaging questions, like taco versus pizza, silly stuff, but people love it. Like, I really like the one, what is the smelliest thing in your house? Like that's a good one. I'm going to go with my husband's nasty socks after a long day of work, but people do like to engage on those things. They like funny, they like authentic, they like real. They don't want to see somebody out that is implying that they have the perfect life and they're over here in, dumpster fire city. So be real, share the good, share the hard.
Share. I think the key word is share.
Share. It really is.
Share.
Be relatable.
One other thought is sometimes I think I've shared something like, maybe you show how a cotton cleanup works, or maybe you're out of cotton cleanups and you were only able to show cotton balls, whatever it is. don't think that just because you've shared it once that you don't need to share it again, or where to find the size of your light bulb, or the hack of how many cubes go in a thing. Because I will, every once in a while, it'll probably be like every 4 to 6 months, someone will be like, what are those cotton cleanups? Or they'll ask one of those questions and I'll be like, you know what, I'm going to go live. I'm going to share it again. Even if I did it a few months ago, because the way things go and the things fall further down in the page, and I'll do it again and show them again. So don't forget about those little tips and be like, oh, I already shared it. No, share it again. It's worth hearing again, because especially if you're adding new people, they're not all going to go through all your old videos and watch them. So that would be another thing I would think of.
Amen.
I would,
Go ahead, Cal.
I was just going to add another thing that you can do is if you feel like you're not very maybe knowledgeable about our products, you don't have to buy it, but you can get the product training guide on your workstation. Just search product training guide, or you can add it to any order, but you could literally flip through here and just say, what are the features and benefits? And you could literally share a product and a feature and benefit. Another thing you could do is say, you could, if you have a tabletop base and you're like, hey, have you seen that sometimes we share, my pictures are in here like this. Did you know that you can put any of these minis on a tabletop base, right? And just kind of showing some of those tips and tricks and different ways that you use product. Carrie Bowens, I was talking to her the other day, she had never done the magic wax of black raspberry vanilla to clean out her warmer. She's like, oh my gosh, that works so good. If you have some gunky warmers, throw some black raspberry vanilla in there and give it a try. And that's what I send out to all of my new customers, is the magic wax, a sample of black raspberry vanilla with a little card on that, because there's just random little tips and things like that that you can share that'll make a difference and keep them coming back.
Yep. And I was just going to add that use the products. If you're unsure, the best way to talk most comfortably about anything is your own personal experience, right? Use the products. If you haven't tried the bathroom cleaner, order it, get it with your host rewards, try the products, use the products, and be consistent in your posting, but don't rely on hopeful posting or pray and post for a business plan, right? It's the whipped cream and cherries. It's not the meat and potatoes at all. So keep that in mind. If you don't have parties booked or you're not meeting new people constantly, you really have to stop and kind of reevaluate where you're at and get a game plan on constantly introducing new people into your life, right? So that's I'm trying to be very intentional on meeting new people, new friends, and it's working. I mean, I met some new ladies, and within 24 hours, I already have 3 new people that have already referred people with just meeting them when I went to face-to-face to this office the other day. So it's already showing rewards. If you have the opportunity to go face-to-face to some people, do it if you can, right? Just build that relationship, laugh, have a good time. It will come to something, right? It just takes time. All right. Anybody else want to wrap up with any final thoughts? So I will tell you before they say their closings, the topics we have left to cover. We are covering organizing next week, like our personal office organizations coming up in a couple of weeks.
I think we should not do that next week.
Don't do that. You want to wait. Push
I don't
this
think you
off,
should tell
just
them
do
what we're
more
doing.
questions. Is Stacy though next week?
I'll talk to her tomorrow.
Okay. Well, we'll let us surprise you. So the questions, what we have topics covered is hosting, online parties, social media, samples, mailers, products, shipping, talking to new people, team, and follow-up, and then personal situations that maybe fell into that category. So those are some that we are still going to cover. We have all these on a Trello board, and we're gonna hit this another week. So we don't know if we're doing organization or questions next week again, but hopefully you guys got some great info tonight. Anybody want to wrap up with any more info or last comments?
Just bye. I won't be here next week. Have a great Thursday night shift.
We will miss you.
I will be in Daytona.
Yeah. So was this helpful? You guys want to raise a hand? Is this something definitely okay? I'm seeing good nods. I'm gonna see
Good.
Okay. Yeah. Nicole, you have your hand. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. So there's also this new thing if you're on an iPad where if you do certain actions and you enable it, then it will raise your hand for you automatically, or if you clap, it'll clap your hands on. So just so you know, that might be a thing that's happening to some people now. So I did over on the monthly movement group. I put the magic wax printable. It is also in the monthly movement files. That is the monthlymovement.com/files. There's all sorts of things in there, and that is also in there. There's a document in there under, I believe, recruiting packets. I will make sure it's there, but it's the what ifs, like what if I don't have friends or family? What if this or that? So when it comes to like those sponsoring what if questions, we'll make sure that's there in there as well. So there'll still be more resources for all those things.
Awesome. And we may go ahead and put another post, be watching in the monthly movement group. If you have more questions that you, or scenarios that come up, go ahead and add to that thread if you see it. We can address more later. It's okay. If you have a situation that come up, because I guarantee you somebody else in this group is having the same scenario happen to them too. You are not alone. So if we can help 1 or 100, it's worth it, right? So thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for being present. Thank you for spending Thursday night with us. We love you all, and I hope you have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.